one heck of a weekend this weekend. My gosh. I went to the First Lady's Tea on Saturday by Focus, sponsored by LA Focus. Oh, that was awesome. Reverend Boyd's wife was honored. And then I went to the pink thing with Ariva Martin at the Hilton, and that was off the charts too. And I mean, I was just exhausted today. I mean, I'm not used to all this activity. 2 days.
Well, it was nice because you're not doing it all the time. It was.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
true.
you got a lot of pictures and had a good time.
No, I've outgrown taking pictures. I'm not taking any more pictures. But Mark Ridley Thomas was there at both events, and Tavis Smiley was there. They had about the only thing I missed was the Urban League. That was on Friday night. Those tickets were $1,000.
Well, they were trying to pay their bills for next year.
Yeah, and then one of their sponsorships, and they called it the John Mack sponsorship thing, was $150,000. Can you believe that?
That's a company sponsoring them.
Right, exactly. But they had about 800 people there.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. And Ariva had about 400, and LA Focus had another 300. So it was a good turnout on all 3 days, you know.
So it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, okay.
3 nights.
Yep, sounds like fun.
Yeah, just, I don't ever want to do that again. And thank God Ariva Martin, she caught me because her tickets were $400, but we're honoring her at our luncheon on the 24th. So she comped me, and that was truly a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, you know.
Is this the same Ariva who's the
Yeah,
lawyer?
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like her a lot.
Dr.
Oh
Phil.
my God, her event was off the charts. I've never seen anything so fabulous in my life. And the women were out there in all shades of pinks. I'm sure they all had on $700 shoes because their shoes were beautiful. I'm like, oh God. I'm talking because there's nobody else but us.
Oh, no, sure. I heard about Saturdays and I was semi-invited, but it was okay when they didn't call and remind me.
You know what was interesting? I invited my goddaughter, and she's a first lady. And we didn't even, they had the first ladies march in, walk in, and we didn't think about, hey, you need to be in there, Marguerite, you know? So we're sitting there eating and watching the program. I said, Marguerite, you need to be on that stage. You are first lady. So I
don't know what a first lady is other than
the wife of a minister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was religious based.
Yeah, so I grabbed one of the ushers and I said, can you please take her up to that stage? So they maneuvered through the tables and the crowd and took her backstage. And so she was able to walk up on stage and represent her church.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so next year we'll know, Marguerite, you know, you need to be in that first lady's walk-in, you know?
Yeah, because I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, so it was just mind-boggling.
Definitely heard of first ladies, but I didn't know that in the church that was considered.
Yeah. So,
but then I grew up in Catholic church, so I guess I wouldn't know too much.
Oh, you wouldn't know. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Although I went to Holman as well.
Yeah, well, they have a first lady, you know, at Holman.
Yeah, I'm sure
the wife of the minister is always a first lady, you know. But it was really nice. Lunde Adams was there, and we all wanted her to perform, but she just spoke, you know. But it was
Brenda Adams.
Yolanda.
Oh, Yolanda. Okay, sure.
Yeah. It made my little luncheon look like, you know, oh my God, what are we doing over here at the Proudberg? You know.
Oh no, come on.
Like,
don't even, you're not comparing.
Oh,
it's doing something positive.
Yeah. Oh.
You don't need to compare. What do you want to be bothered with all that headache?
Girl.
Because that thing is a headache.
It is.
I can tell you right now.
Yeah. Well, you know, they hire event coordinators and things of that nature. So, you know, They hired people to put all that together. They did a good job with the registration. There was no bottleneck or anything like that, you know.
Yeah, and if they do it once, they can do it twice.
That's true.
So if they've been doing it for a while, then it makes it very simple for them.
Yeah. Well, LA Focus, Leslie Collins at 23 years and Ariba was 15 years. And she showed a video of her journey. And I mean, that she is incredible. Her son is autistic. And so that's what really got her into that field. You know, she founded that, can't think of the name of the center right off the top of my head, but she has a whole foundation that raises millions of dollars for these
Holly
kids.
Robinson's son is autistic too,
Oh, really?
the actress.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
And then I think, what's her name? Oh my God. The one with all the sisters that sings. They were on TV all the time.
There was a lot of them.
Same. Tip of my tongue. Her son's autistic as well.
So I asked her how long the video was because she's our keynote speaker. So I'm gonna ask her, see if we can use that video at our luncheon, you know?
Yeah.
People really need to know, you know, what she's done. She's a civil rights attorney. She's on CEN all the time.
Yeah, people don't know, you know?
And see, that's my objective, is to bring these people that are doing some phenomenal, outstanding things and that people don't know, you know, bring them to the forefront and let people know, hey, you know.
It's important.
It is.
That's why we have a meeting 10 times a year, to bring somebody to have people know, if you have a problem, this is who you reach out to.
Right. Did you see that? Well, I guess it doesn't pertain to you, but I will send it to you. Karen put a flyer together for a meeting on this end of the street. So I'll send you that flyer. I just got it today, but I'm so super busy. I'm just so super busy. I forgot to send that to you. But I think it's May 31st and our lead officer is going to be there because, you know, we have a lot of issues
Well, you know, I don't understand why you guys don't meet anyway, but it's all about.
Well, she's, you know, she kind of said that it's time for us to do it again, you know.
Heck yeah, and not depend on everyone else.
Yeah, we had about 6 or 7, you know, windows broken out in cars, you know, back to back. And then
you guys have had more problems than we are.
Yeah, I don't
Heard
know.
About.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over here, you know.
Yeah, well, Paul King and Paul Nielsen told me that right there in front of them, they had a bunch of stuff.
Really?
But it's wonderful you guys getting together because we need to have the opportunity for both sides of Arlington to support each other.
Exactly. So Anna Maria, I thought that was 2 separate names, but it's actually one. Our lead officer.
Yeah.
She's gonna be there, you know.
Well, yeah, she's your slow.
Exactly. And then, you know, still has this problem with this homeless person, you know. He bothers Karen because he breaks into her house, you know. So here comes Laura. She's on, so I'm gonna mute myself. Oh, look.
It has everything to do with what you guys organize and plan together because
She's coming to me. She talked to you.
Hi, everyone. Hello, how are
Hey,
you?
Dolores.
Hello.
Hello, you look fabulous, girl. I love that picture.
So do you.
Oh, girl. I don't take pictures no more. I'm gonna forever look like that, you know. You know, they say forever 21. Oh my God. Oh.
They need to find a real name. Eric was.
If I know this was gonna happen to us as an age, I would have, you know, done more to protect myself. I'm like, oh my God, the wrinkles.
Pictures. I've been
Yeah, I saw the pictures. I saw.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute because I will just ramble if I don't.
Oh, no, that was good information. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I'm gonna send you a flyer on my luncheon. Please try to get some people to come. Dolores, you as well, because you know we're in that big ballroom now. I'm really worried.
Saw the pictures.
That's what
Yeah, or James told me that he used to
cleaned up
some of it.
But you know, we're honoring Charles Dickerson, the co-founder and conductor for the Inner City Youth Orchestra. We've got a beautiful video on that orchestra that we're going to be playing because I'm trying to expose these kids that are coming out of high school to classical music and the orchestra, you know?
right?
I played the violin and the piano, and you know, it's all a matter of being exposed. I didn't master anything, but I certainly appreciate it now because I played it, you know.
Yeah, my kids were at 32nd Street and they both had instruments they learned, but
Mhm.
they didn't go any further. Hello.
Yeah, that's good. Well, they say are aware of it, you know, as a
Yeah.
adult.
I asked you, Laura, you want to talk about?
No, on the
Oh.
agenda? No, I thought she asked.
Just on kids.
What I had to say, I can't say.
Oh, Yeah, and I don't think I can,
No, don't worry.
yeah,
No.
but I did mention to Heidi, to Miriam when she was here, we need to really talk about that. We want that old landscaping crew back. Because who's ever doing the landscaping, it is,
Awful. I just was noticing it.
oh my gosh, it's so bad.
I spoke to Eric today about when we're going to be meeting. I said, 'cause if they don't want to meet with us, just tell me.
Mhm.
I will do something else.
What
Because
did
the
he
next
say?
person, he said, they haven't responded, I'll get back to you.
Oh,
And that's been enough time, so we're gonna go from there.
I think Michelle might be coming in person too, so.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, I think so, that's what,
I
that's,
sent her a reminder.
Beautification of extension.
yes. It's virtual,
I know.
yeah, okay, going.
It's 3 years into this. Going means going,
Attending.
attending, participating.
All that.
And you're gonna join in too, Laura?
And try. I mean, I'm working limited hours.
Oh,
It does, well.
Yeah.
David has a hard time. But,
You're there at the same hours, I see. you
no,
all the
no,
time.
no, I'm not arriving till 10:30 or 11,
Okay.
and I'm trying to leave like now or sooner.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was staying till 9 o'clock.
Oh, I didn't know. 9 to 9. huh?
Yeah.
12 hours.
Oh. And that's.
Yes,
Yeah, I said
but
that.
the point is, it's harder to say I'm going to a conference when you're already working shorter hours. Not impossible, so just.
And Dolores, you sent that flyer out to everyone too. Are you attending the beautification Zoom meeting tomorrow?
Hi, Rena.
Hey, Rena.
It's gonna, I'll be right back. Let me cover this up while I do it there.
I love this weather. I don't know about the rest of it.
Well, it's a little chilly,
It
which
is,
I
but I
don't.
can work outside, don't get sweaty and have a ball, because there's so much to do. The weeds are.
Oh, I don't even.
I know.
No, I mean, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and,
Hire a gardener?
well, because the person who's responsible is still in Maine. Not now.
We're just gonna wait a couple more minutes, everybody.
So John is recommending that the guy who's cleared out Paul Williams' house for him is really good.
Donna, I just emailed you Karen's flyer.
Okay, thank you.
So, but not to mow the lawn. I mean, I have to sort of start by
Oh, yes.
identifying the lawn as separate from the flower beds, and then digging out the flower.
Sorry, I stepped away. Did I miss anything?
We're gonna start in a couple minutes, but I did ask a question. Will you be attending the beautification webinar tomorrow? You know, you sent that flyer out to everybody?
Uh-huh.
No, look, I was just saying that I'm gonna do it. Laura said she was gonna chime in. I thought I would ask you, but never mind.
Well, know what that means. Sounds like me.
Is that Officer Mejia?
Hi, yes.
Just 1 or 2 more minutes. We're expecting a couple more people.
Okay, sounds good.
To when you talk to
Face to
yeah,
them.
yeah, you just talk to the circle.
Oh, to the circle.
Yeah, because that's focusing
Yes.
on your face, so that the people on Zoom will think that you're speaking to them.
Got it.
Use it all the time when I'm touching. I can go around and introduce themselves.
When I talk, I sent John an email. Letting his presentation, also some stuff on 1848. The time codes for the meeting and everything, so he would know the things that he agreed to do. And then I told him we would love to, if he ever does another open house for Paul Williams. And so he thinks he'd like to do one for the community.
Well, I had asked him if you would, on Zoom or in person.
No, I meant in person. I mean,
You're right,
we would
I had
take a
asked him,
look.
I had asked him if he could open it up, but I asked him still a little early. It wasn't perfectly
Right.
safe.
But I think we might do a community event or a community open house, so everybody can come and see it. I think it'd be great before it gets, and then after.
Well, that's what I've been encouraging him to do, so, because, you know, I've seen the place multiple times.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if, you know, David had the list, it's just not in the house. The owners once they realized what they had, how important it was.
They ran.
No, the owners hired David and said, don't put it in the MLS, only show it to preservation. So we
Oh,
want it
cool.
saved.
Wonderful.
And the
That's
trustee said, I don't care what we get for it.
That's good.
And so they didn't get very much compared to what they would have done, yeah,
It's more important than any.
right.
Okay, it's 7:05, so we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Welcome, everyone. We're so happy that you came out. We're here at the South Seas House and would love to do a round robin of introducing ourselves to each other.
How about we just go over the agenda really quick?
Okay, sure.
So as Donna said, welcome everyone. We're gonna just go through the agenda, then take some public comments and then do an introduction. The Celsius House of Benny Potter Park Director Monica is going to give us an update. Laura Myers and Michelle McDonough are going to talk a little bit about the Celsius House and the renovation that's took place 20 years ago. Here comes Michelle now. And we're going to talk about future events at Leslie Shaw Park and any follow-up business. If there aren't any questions on the agenda, how about we do some general public comments? Does anybody have any general public comments? Go ahead, Donna.
Oh, I wanted, I think, to go around the room, the table, the TV and introduce ourselves. My name is Donna Jones, acting chair of West Adams Avenues and co-chair of the Parks Committee for United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council.
I'm Teresa Masonette. I'm a board member with UNNC and also co-chair with Ranks and Parks with Donna Jones.
And I'm Laura Myers, and I am on board of UNNC. I live in Angeles Vista, and
You're here as a
I'm here as a a person with historical knowledge on multi levels about this house.
Hi, I'm Michelle McDonough. I live, let's see, about 5 blocks away. I'm an architect and I was the architect for this restoration.
Great, Rita.
Are we introducing ourselves as well? I'm Rena. I live on 13th Avenue. An admirer and lover of South Sea's house. I'm just curious to hear what's going on.
Hi, I'm Jackie Nunn. I'm a stakeholder. I live in the Kinney Heights side of Arlington.
Joyce.
Good evening. My name is Joyce Sales. I'm a real estate professional. I'm a native Californian, 22-year West Adams resident, and I am, good evening, Laura. Good evening, Monica. I met you two personally. I am a co-chair of a leadership team, service area leadership team, representing SPA 6, which is our UNNC neighborhood. And the leadership team is sponsored by the Department of Mental Health. And I'm here to talk about possible collaborations with SALT and South Sea's house.
Great, thank you. Louis, is that you, Reverend Chase?
Yes, it is. Good evening, everyone. I am the Reverend Louis Chase, the Minister of Community Outreach at the Holman United Methodist Church.
Great. And Officer Mejia.
Hi, Teresa. Yes. Hello, everybody. I am Senior Lead Officer Ana Maria Mejia for Southwest LAPD, and I'm the SLO for West Adams Avenue and for where Benny Park is located, South Seas and Isidore House.
Okay. We'll have you give us an update as soon as we get done with the introductions. Michael. Michael?
I was unmuting. I'm sorry. Hi. Sorry, I'm late.
Introduce yourself.
Michael Kimbrough. I see Michelle there. Hello, Michelle. I'm on the Avenues UNNC board, and I'm a stakeholder. Is that all?
That's fine.
Okay.
David?
Dolores?
Oh,
Okay.
oh, Dolores. Oh, did I forget Dolores?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. David, Dolores, go ahead. Sorry.
Dolores Spears, 22-year resident in CD 10. I live in Jefferson Park and I'm a board member of UNNC.
David?
He's connected to his audio.
Okay, he's not quite here.
Monica.
Monica Benjamin, the facility director at South Sea's house.
Hi, David. We're just doing a quick round of introductions. Okay, I'm sorry. So we might start off with opportunities.
Yes, Anna, it's your
Yes.
you're up. Thank you for coming, and we'd love to hear you, what your share with us.
Okay, perfect. So a couple weeks ago on Tuesday, May 9th, we did have an incident at Isidore House, and we did have a suspect enter through the rear window, and we did have the preschool teacher there with the kids, and then 911 was called, and our officers responded. They ended up entering the house and finding the suspect in a bedroom, and they got him in custody. So since he has been charged with the prowling and trespassing, unfortunately, the burglary portion was dropped by the DA's office. And it's just one of those things as to where, you know, they make those final decisions. And I explained it, you know, in the past where obviously our detectives at Southwest do what they can for these guys to be charged with what they need to be charged with, but sometimes some of the charges doesn't go forward, and that's just part of the system that goes on down at the DA's. And with that being said, I did meet with our Park and Rec Security Service Flo Ortega, and he did go out there after the fact. He was patrolling the area. I know he met with Monica, and they did check out what had occurred over there, and then I let him know everything that has been going on with this individual since he has been in custody. So they're going to start doing extra patrols too, and anything that goes on with Isidore and South Seas, they're going to write up stuff on their end with park rangers, and they did request for more patrol by our park ranger Delgadillo. So, and then I've requested more patrols from obviously our units in the area, and then Monica knows too if anything goes on, just to do what they got to do and just call 911 if anything's happening over there. And for that portion, we have seen more black and whites in the area, and I've been over there too as well, and I was over there throughout the day today. And that's basically the main thing, and I think that it's just basically getting the support of acting to get whatever needs to be done with South Seas House and Isidore House, especially Isidore with the vacancy, and trying to get everything set for that. And I think you guys are doing a great job with trying to get either a fence or a community garden for later on. I think those are great steps to basically make it better for the community to get away with having any homeless that wanted to go hang out in those at Isidore House. So I appreciate what you guys are doing for the community as well.
We are definitely working on that and moving forward for it. Any questions from anyone for Flo Mejia?
I have a question. This is Joyce Sales. Where is Isidore House?
The one next door. It's that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
No other questions?
so thank you very much, Officer Mejia. Do you want to talk a little bit about Katrina? Even though she's no longer in the park, she's on 23rd.
Oh, sure. So today I did go out there, and so earlier this afternoon, Eric did come by with one of the rapid response team, and they did get some of her items of what he could take. Unfortunately, he couldn't take her tent because she was present, but she did cooperate with me, and I was able to get her birth date, and she just let me know that she basically is from the area. She's been around Adams corridor for a very long time. That's why she always comes back out. But I did talk to her about getting services and having some type of mental evaluation, because she does suffer from anxiety and a couple other things. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to have our MEU SLO meet with me on Wednesday. I spoke with him this afternoon, and if we can go out, if she's there, then, you know, they can evaluate her with the SMART team. The SMART team has the nurses, and they can see if she meets the criteria to be placed on a hold. If not, we are going to get the Circle team to respond back out but to get her some type of housing, whether some type of mental evaluation, help and assistance, and try to get her help that way. So I'm going to keep doing that path. Hopefully, once she get housed, I think if we find her an actual bridge home type of home, she'll stay. I don't think if it's a shelter, she's going to leave. So it just takes time and resources. So I think it is a good step with the conversation I was able to have with her today, and she was very, very coherent and agreed. So that's positive.
Great, thank you. And just to bring everybody up to date, this lady was in the park for several months near the bathroom facilities. Tori Bailey, our homeless liaison, tried to work with her. At one time she accepted some services and she was gone, she came back. But then she has migrated now a couple blocks away to 23rd. So thank you, Officer Mejia, for continuing to follow up on that. And go ahead, Jacqueline.
I want to thank the officer also because we have had additional patrol in this area. So I really do appreciate that. And then the other thing is I was at a Lonnie Community Farm meeting over here at, can't think of the foundation. But at any rate, I made direct contact with one of Karen Bennis's representatives at that seminar. And she
Oh,
gave me
perfect.
the number for the circle, which I gave to Tori, but I can put that number in the chat if you'd like. This is a new program that Tori's been talking about called the Circle. And from what I understand, the number she gave me is the direct number to this guy named James, who sits right there on the phone, and he will pick up immediately. So like I said, I'll put the number in the chat.
That's great for that. Thank you, because we haven't had a direct number. Mainly it's called
911.
non-emergency.
Yeah.
And that's deep
And
dive.
that might be the same. She did earlier when I spoke with Trina on 23rd, she did say that there was a male firm circle. She just couldn't remember his name. So it might be him. So that's good because I'm going to note that, because then I can reach out to find out what exactly kind of housing they're looking for and what we need for her to do where she stays and gets the help that she needs. So thank you for sharing that.
If she gives it to me, I'll make sure you have it, Anna.
Thank you so much.
We have access to a chat.
Yes, we have the chat.
Okay, any other questions for Sloma here? Or comments? Thank you very much for coming tonight. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. All of you have a great evening. Take care.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So now we wanted to, Monica? Your
Yes.
turn.
Okay, on the agenda, it was about job orders. I did reach out to a couple of people and they have not yet gotten back to me in regards to the 2 job orders that we spoke about last month, which is the carpet cleaning as well as the light fixtures. As far as emergency job orders, they were done and set with the incident that happened on that Tuesday. That's all I have for job orders. Any questions on the job orders?
Yes, I have a question.
for
Monica,
it.
we back and forth. I can't tell you how long on this carpeting. And I'd like for you to tell us who you would recommend we would talk to make sure that the carpets get cleaned.
It would probably be Kimberly Simone because she's the person that I'm contacting.
Mhm.
And she hasn't gotten back to you?
Her contact hasn't gotten back to her. She's been getting back to me.
Okay, good.
So just
All
a heads up, it's the same status as the whole PO situation. When I reached out to her, I did say, hey, I don't know what the status is in terms of the approval of the PO, but if we could do it after summer. So I already put that in her ear after summer camp.
Yeah, we don't have a problem
Yeah.
with the, you mentioned that before being delayed.
Yeah.
But we still wanted to
Just want a date, yeah.
go, right. And then I want to ask you, the break-in that happened, were you here when the repair person came for the windows in the back?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain why you allowed or why they felt the need to screw those nails directly into the wood and to the frame of the windows?
It was to secure the window from it being popped open that's what the suspect
It's a
did.
historic house, Monica. That you can't put screws into the wood frames around the windows. And it had been that way, I don't know, let's say 20 years, except for the one incident where the guy broke in 2 weeks ago.
Maybe she needs a historical compliance form, a list, so that she knows what, it's historical and has to be complied to.
The whole house is historical. I don't know why they sent someone out here who didn't have more sense than that. So Monica, we definitely are reaching out to find out why they don't seem to understand what upkeep at this house is. I'm devastated.
I put the circle in the chat.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just really upset about that, Monica.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it required you to give them stronger direction to say, sorry, you can't do that. You have to have more reverence and more respect for this house. Come up with something else. or if they need to have better repair people when they send people out here. I really think it should be a combination. And
Right.
I may have mentioned to you that Don and I reached out to Eric Aguiar to meet with Kathy Santo Domingo, the Assistant General Manager for Facilities, to have her come out and evaluate the house because.
Yes, I do remember you mentioning this person.
Yes, this house cannot be maintained like the other REP facilities. It's not a cinder block, structure that was built in the 70s. It just isn't. So
I think so far I reached out to Eric today and they have not, as far as I know, replied. So maybe we just need to meet with the general manager, and that's my suggestion. And then maybe he'll bring her along, but we definitely have not gotten a response on upkeep.
yeah, go ahead, Laura.
Right, so Monica, this department owns, from what I can tell, 7 or 8, something like that, historical properties throughout the city. Do they not have does facilities not have a specialized crew who deals with the historical properties? And if they do not, why not? And we've had that, this discussion's broader than the one window, but now they're gonna need someone who knows how to repair the damage they did.
Right.
And come up with a different methodology for securing it. And also, it would seem to me that it's screwed shut. That's not a good thing anyway. The windows are to be openable. So I think the right answer is they need wood screens that are alarmed if what they're trying to do is prevent future such incidents, or at least a warning. So an alarm screens, which is what is normal for historical houses.
Okay, I'd like to speak. Does that house have any power right now?
It's
No, it's here.
Here.
We're talking about
the windows back
here.
there, yes.
Oh.
And by the way, nowadays, the new historic wired screens
Yeah.
are Wi-Fi. So.
Oh, I thought you were
So
talking
they
about the
know
Isidore.
that. But you could do it there anyway, because it's Wi-Fi and not
Yeah,
hardwired
okay.
for the alarms.
Well, I guess I will offer to meet with anyone who would like and to be on call here to come back and help with problems like this, or in the future, before something like this happens. I can leave my phone number with, I see the lady at the desk over there.
Yes.
Heidi. I can leave my phone number with Heidi and just let them know that I'm certainly on call.
Because
Okay,
that
so
contract of yours is still going for 20 years.
Oh, does it? Well.
And just so
Although
everybody
it-
knows, Michelle was the architect who worked on,
And project
yes, that worked on the restoration of the house. So she.
That's Southeast House, correct?
Yes. So now you'll have a backup, you'll
A
have her,
contact.
it'll be here, Heidi will have it.
Thank you.
I know these people they're sending out, obviously. I don't want to say what I think of them, but what they did was when they took down the sconce by your office.
Right.
What they did to secure the house, I couldn't believe it, but obviously, now you have a backup for you, and then we're gonna find out why we don't have a facilities backup, because that person's unreachable. So that's where we are now, Monica. We're bringing out the big guns.
Michael.
Well, I'm not so sure I'm a big gun, but I would,
Okay.
I'd like to, we've been, I've mentioned to both Donna, you and Teresa and Michelle, my interest in the Isidore house, which is one of the reasons why I'm here tonight. And
But
so
this is Southeast. We're talking about Southeast tonight.
Oh,
We're gonna talk about-
I thought this was about the Isidore as well.
No, when they screwed the window shut, it's here,
Okay,
Southeast.
well, in any event, I do have historical preservation projects in my resume. And so I'd like to offer my assistance as much as possible.
Sure.
And Michelle and I have worked together before. We haven't killed each other yet.
Okay, well, then that's good because now Monica has a team.
2 contacts.
Absolutely.
So thanks for offering, and we'll have your number shared as well.
So
here.
Michelle and Michael.
Yeah, my
Yes.
email as well. Yes.
And they live in the area close by. And maybe that'll give some support to them actually following up on the job orders and other things here in a reasonable fashion. Even
Yeah, I
the
think it
out.
may be helpful, Donna, if when things like this are going on, we need to have a seasoned hand around to kind of watch and make sure that the person that comes out knows what they're doing, following the correct procedures.
Yes.
You know, and so on and so forth.
We definitely agree there. We were grateful to have David come over and secure the window temporarily. And then when they came for repairs, this is what they came up with. So now we'll have, that's a good, really wonderful to have a team of people who are local and can follow up. So you guys, we're grateful. And Monica will have a backup as well.
Yes.
Okay, Monica, anything else you want to share?
Yes, I want to continue on the agenda with summer programs.
Okay.
Yes, we're getting ready for the summer camp to be exact. We have our meeting with the guardian parent orientation at the end of this month. We are offering Play LA classes as well as Girl Play LA classes, clinics for the summer. Let's see. I mentioned during our last meeting, excited about having the cheer expand and grow. We're going to have them perform at the Lotus Festival this year. That's in July. That's it for the summer. What's next on the agenda?
Okay, you have staffing?
Staffing. All right. So as far as staffing goes, I haven't heard anything about a full-timer yet. No one's emailed or contacted me. But as far as part-time employees, we are still interviewing. For our internship program, we do have an interview tomorrow. It's someone that we worked with before in our CIT program, and he's pretty excited. So hopefully bringing one more body on board for the summer.
So the coordinator job has not been even interviewed for?
I believe they did interview. What I heard during our last district meeting, and this is from our union president, they're going to bring on 7, but I didn't walk it to him. He didn't specifically say which parks, but I believe they're bringing on 7 new coordinators, which means they're going to open up the test or create emergency appointments for new bodies to move up.
Okay. We have a question from Teresa and then Joyce.
Go for it.
Monica, 3
Yes.
questions. LA Play is the subsidized activity that we have here, right?
Correct.
So a month ago, Jimmy Kim, which LA Play is funded by LA 28, the Olympic Committee.
Yes.
They gave $500 million. So the new series of classes that are coming up are karate, fencing, and what is the one from Hunger Games? You know, Hunger Games. Archery. Right. So yeah.
Here.
Yeah, well, they have set aside funding for archery, karate or judo, and fencing. And we would like one of those. I'd like to have 2 of those programs here, Monica. So I think I may have mentioned it to you. So can you find out about creating those 2 programs here?
Okay, but I'm gonna have to dig and do some research and finding an instructor. We do have an instructor poll for the specific program. Are you cool? I'm gonna probably shoot you an email just to confirm these particular formats.
Okay, well, this is what Jimmy Kim presented to the City Council Budget and Finance Committee that they were going to do on this next round of funding from LA 28. And there are 4 programs. There were only 3 that I thought, oh, another one was, I think, water polo or something, but that didn't apply to us. But Archery, I thought archery and fencing would be really interesting programs to offer here. So,
Okay,
you know, if we could do that, that would be great. So my next question is,
so just a heads up, I will look for that into the fall unless I can crunch that in for the summer.
okay,
Okay, but definitely, I'll
Uh,
definitely look into that.
What we
Till
really
summer.
want is, the money is available, we want to get our share. And then we can figure out when it starts, because I'm sure other parks will reach out. He went to the city council, underserved communities should
Yes.
definitely have their portion, so that's what we're asking for, to ask for it. I don't care when you,
Right.
we schedule it, but let's
Got
get
it.
the money.
and were you able to follow up with Jonathan with Rediscover?
Not with the chaos that I had to deal with, but I did respond to his email, so I need to follow up with him.
Okay, we would like that. And then lastly, Monica, I'm really disappointed with the landscaping. I don't know, 6 months ago, we had another crew, we have this crew now, and the landscaping looks really bad. I mentioned to you or Heidi, you had to put a work order in
Job order,
at our house just to get the grass mowed. I don't know what that's about. The landscaping is within the entrance to the South Seas house, looks like shit. I don't know why they came and they mowed. They didn't even put an attachment to collect the dead grass, and then they didn't rake it and they just left it. What is happening with this landscaping crew that we have now?
What's happening with them?
Yes, Monica, you are the director. You need to tell them what you expect and how they need to maintain the grounds here at South Seas House and Benny Potter Park. Oh, I mean, well, you tell me this. How do you think the grounds look?
It's not in its best face, but I'm doing my part to communicate any issues and concerns.
So, we're gonna have to jump
So for
in.
example, when
Good.
you both reached out to me, included me in an email with images, I put the job order in and I followed up. Okay.
And
I
Jerry,
even had one of the
Monica?
supervisors come in, Leo come in, okay, and I had a nice long talk with him about the gardening and everything else.
And what did Leo say?
He really didn't have much of an answer.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
I will
thank
follow up with him again saying, hey, I had a meeting and I'm still getting the same concerns and complaints about the landscape of both houses.
Okay, and we'll do the same. Joyce and then Laura.
Thank you. Monica, it's good to be in your company again, Joyce Sales. I heard you mention Rediscover. If you need, have a contact with the program manager. They tabled at our last year's backpack event. They did a bunch of art projects for the kids. So if you need that name, I can share it with you.
Yes.
But you were talking about staffing for the South Seas House and the internship programs. Are they direct hires and intern acceptance from South Seas, or do you have to go through the City of LA hiring process?
It's a government job, City of LA hiring process.
Thank you.
But now we're in an emergency situation because we've been waiting for months and we're shorthanded here. So I'm thinking it looks like we're gonna have to get with the GM because we're not getting any response from Kimberly or Monica. Who's Kimberly's supervisor?
It would be Anita.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Well, I'll say this, I'm in walking distance. I meet my walking group, we meet at the park 3 mornings a week. So if you need volunteers, Monica, you can reach out to me and I can make myself available given my schedule.
Oh,
Put
that's awesome.
put it in the chat, please, Joyce,
Okay,
your contact information.
okay.
Okay,
And
Laura.
Monica has it, but I will add it to the chat.
Okay, sure. Laura has a question or a comment.
Well, I just have a simple comment that there's tufts of grass growing throughout the fake river.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy. The gardeners, assuming I should use the word gardener, should have a shovel and they can just dig it out. It's not that much, but I have to say, we were hearing the same kind of excuses 20 years ago. Oh, this is a complicated landscaping scheme. We're not used to it, we're just used to mowing in a park. And it was supposedly resolved because this is the landscaping scheme here and they should just take care of it. It's not, I mean, I'm not gonna say I could do it, but it's not that hard.
Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, sounds to me, and I'm sorry, guys, my first meeting, I'm only listening. Sounds to me like we need a new landscape.
Well, we had a wonderful one. Replacement came in probably about 6 months ago. This park always looked top notch, beautiful, always. And for some reason, something happens. We're trying to decide what that is.
So is it,
Michael, we may have to go to that route, but we're not gonna put up with what's going on now. So the complaints will keep coming.
Is it a complicated procedure to make a change?
No, it doesn't need to be changed, it just needs to be maintained and
Properly
updated.
maintained.
Yes, I mean, it's beautiful landscaping, it has stones and a fake,
It's a dry creek bed.
Thank you.
It's a dry arroyo.
No, I know what it is.
Dry arroyo shouldn't be having grass.
No, I think you misunderstood my comment. It wasn't that we needed to change the landscaping layout. It's maybe we need to change the landscaper.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I understood.
It's the city, I mean, the park has a maintenance crew,
Oh,
and they used to have a really good maintenance crew that kept the park looking beautiful, and I don't know, 6 months ago, we got a new crew because they rotated them, and they're just not as committed, and they don't,
All right.
they're not as committed as the other crew, so.
Well, maybe we
So
should
I'm
write
also gonna chime in,
what
Donna,
plans
Teresa, if you remember,
what needs to be maintained or replaced. Sorry.
go for it.
I said maybe we need to write up a precise description of what needs to happen now.
And then we can have a meeting with them, hopefully with the person who's in charge of landscaping that took Bill Lopez's place. He's been here.
Oh, right. Monica's hand is up.
Monica?
Yeah, sorry. If you remember Donna, Teresa, when we had a meeting with the Kimberly, and I cannot remember that gentleman's name from maintenance.
Mahi, what's his name? Jose
Oh, and I'm
Mahi.
trying to look at my emails right now to see if I'd be lucky enough to find his name.
I
but
have his contact, if you want
Yeah,
me
if
to
you-
send it to you. Or I'll
no,
give
I
it
have
to,
it. I just have
give
to
it to
find,
Heidi.
I just have to remember his name, but if you recall, he did mention that they plan on redoing the landscape, both front yard and backyard.
Well, he said he was going to replace all
Right.
the barbecues in the park.
Right.
There's quite a few things he was supposed to be
And
doing.
he wasn't gonna replace it because he was part of the original crew that put that in. He was a lower ranked, person.
Originally, but he's on top now.
Right.
He is the top person. So the next meeting is with
Replenish
Jose.
would be nice.
Yeah.
Jose, is that his name?
Monge,
Okay, yes.
Monge.
Well, I was just speaking of something that's dead. I
Oh,
mean,
replace dead, yeah.
replacing time.
But that arroyo
No.
is part of the design.
Oh,
for
absolutely.
example. I mean, we have a lot of very nice plants. They were not natives, they were drought resistant.
So it's gonna go in the chat, Monica. The
Sounds
guy-
good.
Yeah, Jose Monge. So you'll be able to, anyone who wants to,
Save the chat.
If I may interject, it's almost 7:45 and we're still on number 3.
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna hop.
Okay, thank you very much, Monica.
No, thank you.
Get in touch, we'll revisit this, of course. All
Thank you
right,
for that.
thank you for it.
Michelle and, who's it, Michelle and Laura?
Yeah, I think so, the renovation and upkeep.
So 20 years ago, the South Seas House was renovated. Michelle and Laura were very instrumental in making sure that happened. And now the building has not been maintained. But before we get into that, we need to probably just reflect on what happened during the renovation and what the renovation of the South Seas House brought to the community. So, you know.
So, Monica, I'm wondering, not that I'm gonna go grab it tonight, but are the before and after photos still stored upstairs in one of the closets? Because I mean, we pull them out every once in a while and have tours of the house. Do you know what so do you know?
I know you mentioned this to me. Is it on like large, like boards?
Yes.
It's in
Yes.
our storage unit. So yes, we still have it.
Okay, so at some point, it would be worthwhile having that out and we could,
Yes.
Look at it. But it was finished 20 years ago. But it wasn't started 20 years ago. The effort started in 1991 or 1992, and it just was a long road to taking an abandoned house that had people living here and people who had started a fire, or more than one by accident. And the columns on the front porch had been stolen, but were found by the police in an antique shop. And all of the Arroyo stone came out of the city, did a big project on Arlington and excavated Arlington down to the original Arroyo stone from the old river. And we hauled, David Sapper and I hauled truckload after truckload of the Arroyo stone up here, which was ultimately used for parts of reconstruction of the house. But essentially, what we had was a community effort, pretty widespread, to save and then restore this house with the goal of making it a community center, for meetings like this, and a educational center. We had computer learning upstairs and a officing for for recreation and parks to actually have people here to run programs in the park. So we had, many ultimate goals. The original idea was that the community would raise the monies, and the LA Conservation Corps, what's now become CCC, was going to do a lot of the work. It's going to be training, job training. And we were supported by LA 84, the Olympics Committee. And we raised, almost $20,000, but in $5, $10, and $20 increments primarily. So it was impressive to raise. There were some bigger donations, but impressive to raise all those funds. But at that point, the city said, wow, you raised all those funds. You've demonstrated to us the will of the community is the same house. Hang on to those funds for a while. We'll use them for parts of the house, but we're going to get more money. So ultimately, it was about $1.7 million. And then I passed this on to Michelle because she became the project manager. I was part of the team raising the funds, but Michelle became the person who really implemented the projects.
Okay, well, we replaced the foundation. We restored plaster, updated the wiring, put on a new roof. There were seismic upgrades and all new systems. We restored as many original features as possible. For example, the linoleum squares in the kitchen are actually modified version of the original one-piece linoleum that was printed. The designs within those squares, we couldn't replicate that, but that is as close as we could get. The size is the same. Doors had been cut in, and we closed those up, restored the original footprint and floor plans. There had been an addition placed along the north portion of the house. We took that addition off to bring us the original shape of the house back. In the process, the little window in the dining room was discovered. I'm sure it was a stained glass window at one time. That design, since it was the Joseph Dupuy house, the design is now, was a choir master. So that's the basis of the design right there. The leaded glass was restored. And
the bricks, which were from the fire, this whole fireplace had collapsed into the
basement. So we had that. We repaired the holes in the floor for obvious reasons. We were lucky enough to find underneath some of there was original wallpaper, and there was a wallpaper border. And Robert, I don't remember Robert's last name.
Rory Cunningham.
Rory Cunningham was kind enough to recreate that as a stencil. So that is also by the family remodeled the front porch, the stairs, because we have a photo from early in the century, Mr. Dupuy standing on a wooden porch, and then we have a photo of their son in his World War I doughboy uniform sitting on concrete steps. So we went back to the original. Columns had to be, we had several columns had been removed. We had one column, and luckily we had a photograph from the family that had rented it from, this was purchased in the 70s, I think, maybe Laura can correct me, by the Department of Transportation. Their plan was to acquire properties along Arlington as they became available to be able to demolish things and widen Arlington.
Right, they actually were gonna connect the 10 freeway to the Hollywood freeway and correct the S-curve correct, in quotes, the S-curve on Wilton Place. So that project disappeared because the community at Wilton Place and Second Avenue did secretive, we used to be able to do it in secret. They applied to become a National Register district without the city officials knowing what they were doing. And it was approved. So once it became a National Register district, the project,
Get rid of it.
well, no, it's more than that. The project they were discussing would use federal funds. And you can't use federal funds if you're going to demolish a National Register district. So that project went away. This house was acquired because it would have been more of a bigger off-ramp. I mean, in other words, because it was going to be a big thoroughfare, maybe more like La Cienega, not a freeway exactly, but a speedway. But then they abandoned the house.
And so city rules require that before putting it back on the market, they offer it to any other department. And Rec and Park said, this is great, we're going to demolish this and we're going to turn it into a parking lot for the park. And the community said, wait a minute, we don't want that. And just because at the time, and probably for all to some extent, maybe there's drug dealing in the park, the last thing we want is a place where people can pull their cars in, hang on, somebody can drive down Arlington and quick exchange and be gone.
Right. And then they backed off that, but just said, well, we'll expand the park. And that just triggered the sort of a similar responses. What do you mean? You want the kids to chase a ball onto Arlington?
Right.
So, I mean, it was a no-go from the start, but it was controversial. I mean, the acquisition was extremely controversial because the house was to be auctioned off for preservation. And it was sort of, again, everybody was doing things in secret back then. At the time, nobody knew that the department was going to grab hold of it. So it, I think in the long run, this all worked out. So sorry, Monica, that we're being a little bit pushy, but we've spent a very long time saving this house. And
now we have to save it again.
Well, yeah.
No, I actually
It's a
appreciate
forever
the
effort.
history.
We're passionate about this. And
we know you appreciate it and we just get very angry because they should know better after all that
Right,
than
right,
look to walk in here and take and screw a window down.
right.
It means that the person who was doing it was not very intelligent.
Right, so in 1994, after the earthquake, lots of things happened. I mean, and one was that there was a lot of negative feeling in, a lot of not so great things had happened in this community or in LA during the prior 2-year period. And this became a project that was bringing the community together. And we literally talked about it, that we were trying to create the Phoenix Rising, because if we could save the house, we were saving the neighborhood. And it was very emotional. That's, why the fundraising was very successful. And, and we did. So, I mean, basically we did. And then also in 1994, I had with other people, we did a group nomination, or I should say we did 6 nominations, maybe 8 of historic cultural of houses to become historic cultural monuments. The original idea, it was post-earthquake, was to save their chimneys, which maybe it did and maybe it didn't, but we grouped the South Seas House into that same batch of nominations. But the council office put that on hold because was it going to be restored or not restored? So when the whole thing was done, and that would be 20 years ago, and we had the big grand opening, the other thing that happened is we won a big award. And it was for literally, it was the California Preservation Foundation, but the award was for the community effort to save the house. And a bunch of us were invited to go to San Diego, along with the city department, one city department that helped to pay for it, which was the Community Development Department, CDD, because some of the funds were CDD funds. So everyone was down in San Diego to get this kind of unique award, because that's not usually what a preservation award is. It's not usually for a community effort. It's usually for an architect and a contractor.
Well, they
So
gave me a pat on the back too.
yeah. No, they didn't. I mean, I can't remember if you were in San Diego with us.
I was there.
You were there. I mean, it was wonderful. Even fast.
So now we're at this 20-year mark. What are some of the systems in the house that need to be reevaluated? Like the HVAC system?
We can take a look at that. There certainly in 20 years, they've come up with many that are more efficient. I mean, you could go to all electric and wean it off gas. What I noticed, certainly the place needs repainted. And I can see these various divots in the wall, and so, it needs some interior patch and painting, and I'll go take a look. It sounded like it was just like quick and dirty, let me get this done as fast as I can and get on to the next one.
Right.
So.
Well, how long do we think the roof of the useful life of this roof will be? Because the materials, maybe you remember.
Yeah, it's an asphalt shingle, but since the original house had wood shingles that were dyed green, I went with the green asphalt shingle. That's one of the battles that I had and lost with the fire department. Even though you could get a Class A wood shingle at that time, they just said, no, we put a lot of effort into getting this ban passed, so we're not going to make an exception for you. And Jay Oren at the time was the head of the CRA, and he asked me to do it. And I did. I had a meeting with the fire department, and I realized that this was really, I think a private homeowner would have had a better shot than somebody who was dealing with the city-owned property. So what we did is, these are standard 3-tab shingles, but they have been each individually cut and applied so that the profile is the same as a wood shingle. It's obviously a little thinner. I would say 20 years, off the top of my head, it may be a 30-year shingle. I think the thing to do is we'll just go up and look in the attic.
And see if there's any water.
See if there's any.
Well, especially after our 200-year reign.
Yes.
Michael.
Yeah, I have a question. And again, I don't mean to be off track, but Are we looking at South Seas House and Casa Isidore as a unit?
No,
Is there any reason why we're not?
because we have to start from scratch with Isidore, with the consideration of it. We did get a review of the property and what needed and cost would be.
And I sent you that link, Michael, to the
Yeah, I had trouble with that link, Teresa, because we needed to get back to you, but I thought I'd wait until tonight. That link asks me to get permission for something, and I asked for permission, but then it died at that point. So maybe you could put it in a Dropbox file and I can pull it up. One of the reasons I was asking that question, Michelle, is understand that the core essentials for the upgrade of the house are there: HVAC, MEPs, etc. Are we giving any thought to possibly going with smart solutions?
What are we talking about once again, Isidore or
Right,
South Seas?
right.
Well, again, that's why I was looking at both, but if they're going to be taken separately and we're only looking at South Seas initially, then maybe we think about that initially and making it a smart house.
Well, we can look at it, but as I said, I think that I'm
Can
trying
a
to
historic house be a smart house?
Why
To
not?
some extent, I mean, it's insulated now, in a way, of course, that none of them were.
Do we have solar panels, Michelle?
But these are single pane windows, I mean.
Yes, they're single pane.
Yeah. I mean, Michael, that might be a consideration for the renovation of the Isidore house.
Yeah,
Especially since at this point, it's gonna be, the consultant said 1.6 million to renovate it. So maybe if we don't restore it to its original state, we keep the facade and we update the interior to make it more functional for today's standards.
I was talking about the Isidore house. I mean, once again, at 50, I've lost track. I was involved with that. I drew up a floor plan and there were even some plans. Care costs to have, kids cooking classes and things like that. So, I mean, I can drag them out again.
Well, how about I'll put you on the same link I'm gonna resend to.
Okay.
Because the Recreation Park hired a consultant, ESA consultant, that's 400 pages, and they do a full evaluation of the facilities. So
Yeah, okay.
you can take a look at it.
Okay.
The idea is to maybe get a private opportunity for restoration or funding that's for this type of thing, because they're not wanting to let go of that money. They know what needs to be done, but when initially we started out with this, the idea was to do something similar to what South Seas got, and they're not wanting to do it.
Let me understand something, Donna. I thought I heard Michelle say that you spent $1.7 million on the South Seas house?
We did not spend the entire 1.7 million. They acquired 1.7 million from a variety of sources. But in the end, what was about 1.1 that was on the restoration, and then the programming got the computer lab. I mean, in other words, there were other funds. I mean, the funds were used for programming and not just.
I mean, I just, just on the surface, without drilling down on the report Teresa and I are discussing, $1.7 million for the restoration of the Isidore house sounds ridiculous. I mean, you could tear it down and build 3 Isidore houses for that kind of.
Okay, well, first of all, Michael, you can't, because you can't acquire the wood that's used in the Isidore house.
Right.
You can't get the glass panes that no longer manufactures, so you won't be able to do that. But maybe we don't, as a community, we say, well, we don't want to spend that much money, but let's keep the facade and let's update the interior to a more functional space.
No, understood. I get it, Teresa. I understand. Like I said, I just I'd like to really see the report. It's really hard to believe that.
Well, you're gonna see it, and then maybe you'll come back with ideas.
Well,
yeah, you're right, Donna. You're right. I agree with you.
It's simple and straightforward. I mean, upstairs is 2 large rooms, a small connecting space and a bathroom. And there's running the length of the west side of the house is the living room, a large dining room, a kitchen, and a little service porch. So there's not a need really to radically redo it. The one thing I could see is putting, if you wanted to do something more modern, an addition on the back, something not visible from the street.
Right.
I mean, we can connect, the handicap ramp, just dog it over there, and we've got the first floor handicap access.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those are great ideas.
Wonderful, because
Yes.
we really have been trying. They did the report and then they're hiding from us.
Well, I will say.
It's the truth.
Wow.
One of the things we experienced with the department, and again, Monica, not about you, but with the department and its sort of corporate values, was that everything that they looked at, every time they did any kind of reporting, it was always exaggerated. Oh, that's gonna be $1 million to do this, and that's too much money. So I don't know why their corporate culture would have changed now.
Right.
So it may be that this $1.6 million that they're talking about, which by the way, kind of comports with what happened here in the
Yeah.
end. But maybe that's exaggerated a little bit, but I will say restorations of older homes right now are costing $500 to $1 million.
And it is deteriorated inside, not just the
Yeah.
water damage, there's graffiti
Well, the
everywhere. And
the
it's,
foundation,
Yes.
right? That's gonna be 100 right there,
Well, we're also dealing with prevailing wage,
right?
and that bumps these, any project like this way up.
Yeah,
Right, so,
and this was a consulting firm that they hired, so it's
but
not
it's
like,
ESA,
yeah.
they were.
well,
They're
in some cases.
doing city numbers.
Yeah,
Well, so
Yeah, that's okay.
what we're gonna do is come back. We're gonna put a pin in this and come back
Okay.
to it.
Okay,
Because it's a discussion we want to have with them and we want to come up with ideas. Michael, you're included in this team.
Thank
Because
you.
we come up with ideas to where you'll get the copy of what we've obtained, and we'll go from there and we'll move on to the next, because we're at 8 now and we have a couple other things to do on the agenda. And we're gonna go on the discussion of back to school event. Leslie Shaw, Jefferson Park.
somebody pushing.
yeah, Dolores, you want to talk about that a little bit? Let me just find it back.
I haven't made any progress if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, let me just bring up, these are just some of the notes from our last meeting. I'll share it. So we realize that we do a lot of things here in Benny Potter Park, the South Seas House. Dolores asked us to think about doing something at Leslie Shaw Park. So we kind of discussed having a back to school event, maybe with some health booths for dental vaccinations or eye exams. The city to have something. I found a link for the mobile video game truck we discussed. A photo booth, dance machine, food trucks, rediscover organization, and then this is a list of some of the things we need to do. Yes, Joyce. Joyce, you have your hand up?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to hear about the backpack event because our leadership team, we do an annual event. We have another one coming up in August. We haven't set a date. We're in the early planning stages. And we are looking to collaborate with someone in the SPA 6 community to make it a great success. So once you guys, I mean, I can give you a little information about what we did and, here's some input about what you guys have done or want to do and see if we can come together and develop a great event.
What's the location of the event, Joyce, in August?
We're in the early stages. Last year and the year before, We gave out an average of 250 backpacks filled with school supplies. They were filled with, I think, maybe 10 or 12 different items of school supplies. We had the food trucks, we had the health booths.
Where was
we had
it, Joyce? Where was
It
it?
was at Urban Magic Johnson Park, which is in the Willowbrook area. I don't know if anybody
Oh,
is
it's
familiar.
Yes.
It's a huge, beautiful park. Me as the co-chair, I'm trying to get stuff moved to the west end of the Spa 6 area. It seems like for what you guys are trying to do, that Shaw Park is really a small park on Major Jefferson Boulevard. I don't know where you would put health truck, a game truck. So yeah, you know,
Joyce,
if you're
Joyce, those were some suggestions. We're not planning on having all of that because it
right,
is a small park.
Right.
right, I understand that, but even with there not being any parking there, and yes, you're looking for the community to come out, you will have people that will want to drive their cars, and you know, it's a small park. For just the suggestions coming from the 2 years that we planned events, it's a relatively small park for what
Yeah,
you're trying to do.
I think they wanted to accommodate having a small event. Unless they shut down Jefferson, you're right. There are many things that aren't doable. Laura has a question.
You want to comment? Lots of churches there with lots of parking lots, but we'd have to partner early with a target. But my question is, and it's a big question, will recreation and parks be the sponsor versus the neighborhood council? Because it's so much, because
This was just,
no, this is a great idea.
No, I'm not talking about Joyce's idea, which is a great idea.
No, the whole thing is a great idea.
Oh, yeah, this was just a discussion. Dolores said she'd like to try to do something at Jefferson Park, Leslie
Yep.
Shaw Park. We do a lot of things here in the Penny Potter Park. And so we had a loose conversation. I put the notes in and we were going to continue the conversation. Also, we know that because if we're going to get funding from UNNC, we have to wait until the next fiscal year. So we're talking months out as we go through this discussion.
Well, did you have an idea, Dolores?
Pardon me?
Did you have an idea as to who would sponsor outside of the neighborhood council?
No, I had
So
not,
you're
but
just kind of starting that.
Right. Well, I'm just saying my learning curve on this is if recreation and parks or CD10 or the library, this is right there, is the sponsor. And all we're doing is donating funds to the Friends of the Jefferson Park Library, which exists. Which has a 501c3 as a co-sponsor. And we don't need to provide the insurance, or even if we do need to provide insurance, it would be a much smoother possibility. But with the extra, with that truck, the game, you know, whatever, that's gonna be much more expensive on the insurance, not impossible, just more expensive. And I think UNNC could agree to make a donation to a nonprofit, NPG, and provide the insurance for an event. But I think trying to sponsor the event, it wasn't so easy dealing with Claire.
But we've done that. We've done that before when we had the National Night Out.
Yes, we did.
We had the video truck there. We had food in the park. We had the movie thing in the park.
And we had Jeff Bowen, and he did everything. And I agree with you. We did that a couple of years in a row. It wasn't so difficult at the time, my understanding, dealing with the city clerk's funding team. They become very, very, very difficult. So that's what I'm saying. If we're not the sponsor, we're just a supporter, like we do for the West Adams Avenue, for the filming movies. No, what am I trying to say? Jazz and music under the stars. We're not a sponsor. We are a supporter.
Yeah.
And it works much easier.
Have we put in funds for that this year? Oh, but are we gonna do that?
So,
Are you gonna-
Dolores, do you have
Yes,
some idea of what you want to do?
I wanted to have a small something in the neighborhood, maybe, like a blood pressure check, uh, booth, or one or two booths in the park, the video machine for the kids, and just to have something there. I hadn't even thought about a giveaway with regards to backpacks or anything like that. It's still in the brainstorming stage. I have contacted Kaiser, their outreach program, to see, because I know they do a lot of stuff in the community, to see what resources they had to offer. And I've also contacted the outreach department for the county. No one has gotten back to me yet. I just did this like a week ago. I've been out of town a couple of
Yes.
times. I had to go to South Africa. Then as soon as I got back, I had to fly to Las Vegas on a family emergency. So I'm just trying to get settled back home and get back to putting stuff together. But
Yeah,
I will
well,
follow up tomorrow with the county as well as Kaiser outreach departments.
okay, so we're at this
Oh,
point, we know what we want. Just have to
Teresa
figure out how.
Teresa mentioned to me that CD8, excuse me, had put on an event or co-sponsored an event, and I reached out to CD8. They said that they didn't sponsor it; they supported a health fair, and Denise is gonna get back with me with regards to the contacts for. They had health booths. And she's gonna get back to me with the contacts for those vendors.
And I tried to find that. I know I saw a flyer or something on that, and I looked through my emails. I could not find it, but it did have CD8 on there. So I don't remember. Do you remember this? No, it was just a couple of weeks ago. It was while you were away,
Well,
Dolores.
Yeah, there's lots of events at Lauren Miller Park that CDA partners in. So maybe that was there.
But this was an actual health fair, and since we had mentioned possibly dental exam for kids or eye exams or maybe vaccinations. I mean, I don't know, that triggered that. Yes, Joyce.
I will say that the leadership team I co-chair, we do have a budget, so we could help in that way. We also, we have a bunch of nonprofits in the SPA 6 area that we work with who are willing to table. Last year, we had an organization, they work with people in recovery, and they gave away uniforms. So again, for the small amount of what you guys are trying to do, I think that park is a little small. I think you would be better suited.
Park in the area.
I think you would be better suited to do something at Benny Potter, utilizing both the parks there if you can, or either, I know you want to stay within the area, but not Dorsey, but Michelle and Barack Obama Rec Center, for what you guys are trying to do with the food trucks, possibly with the health trucks, possibly with the game trucks.
I think basically what they want to do is have something in Leslie Shaw. So we'll have to reduce the expectations and not make it so large. And we definitely want to encourage participation in that area.
The problem is that the people in Jefferson Park are not going to travel all the way up to Benny Potter Park. That's why I want to have something in the community, even though it's a small pocket park. There's a way to get it done. We just have to figure it out.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll focus on having.
Coming from Jefferson and Arlington to Jefferson and 24th is not that much travel, be it in a car or coming to Arlington, Jefferson, from Arlington and Jefferson, which is basically where Shaw is, straight down Arlington to 25th is
But
not that
Joy-
big. of a
Joyce?
commute. And let me finish my sentence. You're on a bus line. But I get the fact, and that's what our focus is. We try to keep it for those underserved people. We focus on the underserved community. So for those people who may not have transportation, we try to stay within the bus lines. I'm not wanting to go to Magic Johnson because, as I said earlier, trying to move something to this part of the SPA 6 neighborhood that we cover. We cover as far west here, Leimert Park, View Park, Baldwin Hills, to as far east as Compton, Watts, Willowbrook. And a lot of the things that we do are on that far east side of town. So I'm trying to work with organizations, communities that are, you know, here in the community to mix up, you know, to provide the need in as many areas as we can. And I understand that you're trying to keep it at a minimum.
Yeah, well, we repeat, they want to do something at Leslie Shaw, so we'll try to focus on planning something that will work for them at Leslie Shaw and in the Jefferson Park area.
Thank you, Joyce. So I think if nothing else, let's try to talk about a date or at least a month where we can,
When
we
is
know-
school back? In school?
yeah, school starts in August. So,
It's gonna be a couple weeks before Labor Day. So I'm gonna say mid-August.
So. Yeah, so it'd be much better if we are not, if the neighborhood council is not the sponsor, because getting that all approved would be really.
I know, but I will just say, Laura, I don't mind hard work, and I know we.
No, it's not the hard work.
I know what it's required, Laura, we can learn from your mistake, I mean, not your mistake, but your experience, right? So that's why we're talking about September or October, really far out, coming up with the budget, coming up, working out all the details, and then as soon as the new fiscal year starts, getting to the governing boards and working with the city clerk.
Well, we need to take a look at the budget that Paul's prepared and see if he's willing to put in a footnote this event as one of the potential events for the year. Because we're approving the draft, but we're approving a budget on June 1. So this would be the time to footnote it along with make sure we have the
Money for the jazz.
Yeah.
Right. So Dolores, what are some dates? We're thinking about doing it on a Saturday.
I think that would be
Yep.
best.
Okay.
The other thing you guys might want to keep in mind is there's a lot of organizations doing backpack events. Because kids go back to school in September, a lot of them fill up the weekends on Saturdays in August. So,
Yeah, we're pushing out to September or October, Joyce.
right, the kids are back to school then. They're already in school and.
Title.
Yeah, so, yeah, we might not call it back to school. That was the initial thought, to call it back to school, but maybe we'll just call it,
Celebrate Jefferson Park.
yeah, or something.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a backpack giveaway, because that's what South Seas House did, and then we just did a mini event and just giveaways. We had people come by and we gave them supplies.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
backpack giveaway
just
with your own
have
spin on it.
a day in Leslie Shaw Park.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I mean, if we're lucky, it has.
with
an
the health
anniversary.
fair.
Yeah.
So will we talk again next month, or what do we want to
I
do?
think you need to plan it.
I would
Because I
like
don't
to put together a working committee before we go another month.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Let's get just like a little ad hoc committee, and we can meet to come up with some ideas. Donna, you want to be, Donna, me, you, Dolores, me, you and Donna will come up with some ideas, and then we'll,
And I'd like to get some people from Jefferson Park.
yeah.
Because
Well,
we're
Dolores
we're
is
standing on
Jefferson.
toes.
Right.
So if we could get some more people
Well,
from Jefferson Park. it'd be
What
great.
about Kristen Riddell? Dolores, do you know her? Because she's
No.
doing activities for families at Leslie Shaw Park and cleanup events as well in
Yeah,
Jefferson Park.
can you grab her?
I can see if I
Reach
can have
out,
her email.
and if you have someone else who knows her, I don't
She's
know
great
anyone.
at this sort of thing.
I don't know her, but you can give her my number, or you can give me her number and I'll make the contact, however you want to do it, Laura.
I think
I'm
we
going-
need to get a team.
I think somewhere in my email, I'm gonna have her email.
Okay.
She had come to one or two meetings when, you know, like when Dorit was the chair,
Okay, cool.
so.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll set up a small ad hoc and we'll invite this lady to join us.
Right.
Cause that could be a separate committee rather than being
Yeah,
based on our Parks Committee. That
right.
would, takes a lot of work.
Um,
Okay, so,
any old
we're in
business?
old business, follow-ups. We are talking about the landscaping, which was old business. And, which, we already have discussed, and we have the person, which I will make an outreach to Monkey as well as, Monica. I'm sure you got, it's in the chat, Monica, his contact, so we'll go from there.
Yes, I did screenshot. I do have his email as well, so
Okay, good,
Thank you.
good.
yes.
So,
David. You're on mute.
Sorry, I noticed that the doorknob on the front door was loose and the little ring that went around the door, which is from there to there, was you couldn't put the screws into it because the wood has all been eaten away. I made this little thing, which is a little bit bigger. I was wondering if you think that's okay if I screw that onto the door.
I think if you, whenever you get to the door,
Is it brass? What is,
It's brass, and that's the size of the one that's there now. I added this onto it, so it's a little bit wider than it normally is. So
Oh,
the
so
screw could go into the wood.
you've made a bigger escutcheon.
Yeah.
So, got it.
anybody have a problem with David
Well,
repairing?
ask Michelle.
yeah.
David made
can
an
you show us
inspection
again? Yeah.
for the front door.
Because this one's eating away at the wood.
Okay, let me take
You can, and you can see what he made.
What he did is he made one that's larger.
I made one that was larger.
Yeah.
Is it, and that's the interior, David?
Yes,
Yeah, just.
I tried to screw it in when I was there, and all the screws had fallen out, and the wood is all eaten away.
Right.
So it'll,
They're looking at the door now.
Yeah.
It's one.
So what do you think, Michelle?
he's got the thing that he
Oh, I
made.
can't see it.
He's sort of pulling out.
Oh, okay.
Hold on just one second.
Okay.
Change his view.
Yeah, okay.
And he said it is brass.
Just adds.
Yeah.
He
I just
made,
added this whole piece on the back, so it's like that.
Okay. Great. Thank
And
you.
you made that? I got a couple of doorknobs.
I just have to applaud you, David.
already
That's
come up with
amazing.
a plan. That sounds wonderful. Everyone's got their hands up.
Plate there.
Do you have a plate?
We had a plate there.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, okay.
So much stuff. Okay. All right.
Thanks, David.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Everybody give David a hand. We appreciate it.
So we don't have anything else on the agenda.
No,
I know this meeting ran a little bit longer than normal, so thank you very much, everybody, for attending and
yes, and on the 14th of June, here at the house, there will be a celebration of grads. Same thing we do every year, 6:30 to 9 o'clock, and there'll be food, and the 6 young people who are culminating or graduating in the area will be given certificates, as well as the preschoolers who are culminating here at the house. All are welcome.
and that's
14th.
and that's our regular scheduled meeting, Monica, that we have on the calendar. Okay, everybody, well, have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Good night, everybody, and thank you so much.
Okay,
Welcome.
did you take a look at the